And you're working on a new book.
Yes.
And it's about?
Distribution. So it's taking the same concepts of writing for the green light, how it broke down the process of, look, this is all the stuff that really happens that's never really talked about in books or anywhere else for that matter, about how this process really works from beginning to end and how the whole thing is really reverse engineered. So it does the same thing for the distribution process. It looks into things like, how do you sell a movie that doesn't exist? As I just said, pre-sales. How do companies buy and sell content that's already completed? How do deals get negotiated from beginning to end? What are all the little loopholes in accounting that you have to be careful of, and all that stuff. And more importantly, I think, is where do filmmakers and novices and newbies and hopeful producers fit into the whole scheme of this? What is the landscape? I think that's very important. But the thing I really focus on the most are what I call the foundations and the principles of distribution. Just as I did for writing for the green light with the gold mine genres, these are the pillars that basically all companies kind of operate around. We do the same thing here. Ideas about how movies are really valued, how rights really work, and how deals really take place.
What about the likelihood that someone will be paid upfront versus on the back end?
For a script?
For the distribution rights of their finished film.
I couldn't even quantify like a probability. It's I like to think in the sense that buyers try to gain as much for as little as possible, and people with something to sell try to sell it for, give away as little as possible for the most money. And it's finding that balance between the two where the deals take place. So the likelihood, I would kind of put it more in the sense of what is it about the project, the movie, the whatever, that makes it worth money. Remember, it's very expensive for companies to acquire content, to buy movies, to even just to pick them up for free. There's an incredible amount of work they have to do on the backside to get it market ready and to get it from point A to point B. So if they acquire a movie for free, they are incurring a great deal of costs. So they have to weigh that in a great deal when they're evaluating stuff. And sometimes they're willing to take a risk on a movie that they personally like, and they're not sure how well it might even perform in the market. That would be more of an option where they're not willing to risk as much of their buying budget to acquire it. But if there are things in a film, if it's a gold mine genre, if it has a certain level of cast attached to it, if it's truly market ready and completed and everything else, it might be worth a decent amount of money. And if there's some real talent associated with it, as I said, that is what elevates movies in the indie space. First question I always get asked by international buyers, who's in it? That's what separates a movie with nobody in it that probably didn't have much of a budget versus a movie that understands and knows how to create content for the marketplace.